On the day of my father's funeral, I learned the kind of secret that shatters a family in one blow. A secret so painful that even the dead seemed to whisper it. We were the other family. My mother, my gentle, loving mother, was the side chick. I still remember the moment everything started unraveling. I was in class, half listening to the lecturer when my phone buzzed. It was a message from my brother. T, Dad is gone. My brain refused to process it. Gone where? Gone to the market? Gone abroad? Gone where? I rushed out of class and dialed my brother's number with trembling fingers. His voice cracked as he said, "Heart attack." They rushed him to the hospital. He didn't make it. The world around me spun. My lecturer didn't even argue when I stammered out what happened. I left immediately, taking the next bus home. By the time I got home, the whole compound smelled of grief and whispered condolences. I stepped into the living room and saw my mom sitting on the floor. Her eyes were red, swollen, and empty. The moment she saw me, she wailed like someone whose soul had been cracked open. I dropped beside her and we cried until we were exhausted. Soon after, the uncles started calling. Those men who always appear with authority whenever something bad happens. Even if you haven't seen them in years, they informed us of the burial arrangements and the rites expected. Then came the first red flag. My mother was supposed to perform the traditional widow's rites, a very important ritual in our culture. Every woman who truly loved her husband did it willingly. Some men even mentioned while alive that they wanted their wives to do it, almost like a testimony of love beyond death. But my uncle said very casually, "Your father specifically instructed that your mother must not perform the rites." All of us paused. My mother's face tightened. I felt something shift in my stomach, a strange, uneasy thing that tasted like fear and suspicion. Why would a man who adored us, who spent time with us, who took us on vacations and treated us like the center of his world, say such a thing? Why would he forbid his wife from performing the very rites that honored him? None of it made sense, but I shrugged it off. After all, grief can twist everything into confusion. Except the confusion did not end there. The real truth, the darkness buried for years, waited for us at the funeral like a ticking bomb, ready to explode and rearrange everything we thought we knew about love, loyalty, and family. And nothing, absolutely nothing prepared us for what happened next. If only I had known. If only one small sign had slipped through the cracks, one suspicious phone call, one strange absence, one careless whisper. But there was nothing, just the silence of a family that thought it knew itself. Then came the burial morning. Everything started normally. The rushing, the shouting, the tiny chaos that always comes with Nigerian families, trying not to miss a procession. My mother barking orders, my brother running back inside to fetch something he forgot, me trying to keep everyone calm. It felt like any other heartbreaking goodbye. Until we got to the mortuary. That was where the ground shifted. Right at the entrance stood a woman dressed head to toe in white. White lace, white jewel, white shoes. Only her dark shades broke the purity of it, hiding her eyes and her intentions. On either side of her were two boys, tall, quiet, and strikingly similar to my brother, too similar. At first, I tried not to overthink it. People wore white all the time for burials. Families stood together, nothing strange, right? But then I saw what she was holding, a massive picture frame, and inside that frame was my father's portrait. My father. A cold wave washed over me. I tapped my mother. "Mommy, who is that woman?" Her confusion mirrored mine. Sharp, instant, suspicious. She shook her head slowly. Everything became even more twisted when I noticed the burial banners pinned to the mortuary walls. Not ours, not the design we printed. These ones had a different picture. different colors, different slogans designed by someone else entirely. And worst of all, most of my uncles were standing with the other family, laughing nervously, adjusting their clothes, avoiding my mother's eyes like she was radioactive. That was when the thunderbolt landed. My father had another family, another wife, another life, and they were not hiding it. Not today. My chest tightened. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to shake someone until the truth fell out of their pockets. But my mother grabbed my wrist, her hands trembling. Don't say anything yet. Let's observe. Observe? My whole reality was shattering and she wanted to observe. Still, she walked toward one of my uncles. What is going on here? She asked, voice firm. He stuttered, sweated, looked everywhere except at her. I I will explain later. Explain later. This was the burial of her husband. Then the mortuary attendants rolled out the body of my father, our father. And as we stepped forward to join the procession, the woman in white suddenly lifted her chin and spoke, her voice cold, sharp, and drenched in disdain. Amanda, don't you dare move close to my husband's corpse, you and your charlatans. My mother froze. Your husband, she whispered. The woman said nothing else. She simply turned to her sons and they walked behind the coffin like royalty. Her convoy started moving, engines revving in unison, with our father's body, with her burial banners, with our uncles. And just like that, they drove off, leaving us standing outside the mortuary, confused, humiliated, heartbroken, and burning with the need for answers. We did not chase the convoy, no, but we made one silent promise to each other. We would get to the bottom of this madness, no matter what truths were waiting on the other side. From the moment the coffin touched the red earth, I felt something was off. People mourned, wailed, and beat their chests, yet somehow it was as though we didn't exist. No greetings, no acknowledgements, not even a simple sorry for your loss. We stood there like strangers at our own father's burial. My mother's hands trembled as she walked toward my father's eldest brother. Uncle, why are we being treated like outsiders? She asked softly. That was the matchstick that lit the whole forest on fire. Before Uncle could speak, the woman dressed head to toe in white turned sharply and hissed, outsiders, you're lucky they even let you stand here at all. Everyone froze. My mother blinked in confusion. Sorry, are you talking to me? The woman scoffed. Who else? If you had closed your legs and behaved yourself, you would have realized he was married. You would have known your place as nothing more than a side chick. My brother and I looked at each other. The insult sliced the air like broken glass. My mother's face darkened instantly. He married me, she fired back. You are the one attaching yourself to him. You are the side chick. As what? The woman barked, stepping closer. You? Married? To who? That man never loved you, my mother continued. He spent his nights with me because I gave him peace. You are nothing but trouble. Why else do you think he stopped coming home to you? The words were still hanging in the air when a resounding landed on my mother's cheek. A slap so loud it made the drummers behind the tent pause mid-beat. My vision blurred with rage. Before I knew it, my hand had connected with her face too. Her sons pounced on my brother. I jumped in. Punches flew. Sand filled the air. People screamed. Elders tried to separate us, but the fight only grew hotter. Even the mourners abandoned the grave and rushed toward the chaos. I told Chief this would end in disgrace. One of my uncles shouted, dragging me backward, but he refused to listen. Finally, they forced us apart, panting and bruised, our clothes stained with dust and shame. And then the truth dropped. The woman in white, an elder said, pointing, is your father's legal wife, the only wife he ever married properly. My ears rang. He never paid your mother's bride price. He only did introduction when she got pregnant. Another added, almost whispering. My mother staggered. My brother's mouth hung open. Legal wife, introduction, side chick. We didn't even know which humiliation to process first. The crowd stared at us with judgment, pity, and in some cases, secret satisfaction. We just left the burial ground slowly, silently, our heads bowed, our hearts shattered, and our family name dragged behind us like a tattered cloth, and up till now, we have not spoken about it.